Huh? There. Oh. Huh? Durr.
Hey now, and welcome down to KC Toy Reviews. We are here today with Malavestros from Court of the Dead. This is a collaboration figure between Sideshow Collectibles and Threezero. Now, the question is it worth your money? Well, and your time, because it would take a little bit of time to go to the website and purchase him. So is it worth your money and your time? Well, to find that out, hang on tight, put your hands together, and let's all dive right the hell goddamn in. Alright, so you're probably immediately wondering, why the hell do I have Captain America next to Malavestros from Court of the Dead? Well, the reason being is I wanted to get scale immediately out of the way, so that way the rest of the video you know what you're looking at. Either I'm completely crazy and don't know anything about this character, and believe me, I did Google to see if there was any type of Court of the Dead wiki, and if I could figure out the actual height of this guy. I could not. So I'll eat my words if I'm wrong what I'm about to say here, and I will apologize, but I think the scale is severely off. Not only the scale, the mass of the figure as well. I have Captain America here because I think he's kind of a normal scaled figure. How the hell is Malavestros at $260? Very similar price to Captain America, dare I say. This small and that small in mass size. I was just a little bit shocked at the size of the figure. An immediate disappointment. Again, if I am wrong and because he's this jester and he's supposed to be small, I'll eat my words and I will apologize. But my initial reaction was indeed disappointment. So I'm not going to harp on it too long. But yeah, scale on this guy was very odd. Or dare I say, off. Now, I know that different companies have access to different funds, and because they're mass buying stuff, they can make things for cheaper. So I'm not going to always harp on the price. But being that it's Threezero and this thing was $260, maybe $270 shipped, for the size, I was disappointed. The details of the figure are another thing. Obviously, through the lens, it looks fantastic. Detailed head sculpt, some extreme weathering kind of around his jester neck here. Really good articulation and movement to the neck and the headpiece itself there, so pretty decent there. Articulation as far as the body itself was subpar. These shoulders have very limited movement. So to move the arm up and down, I'm not even going to do it because I'm going to show you next why, was limited on these shoulder pieces here. And then this arm piece, if we can kind of zoom in here. I mean, am I crazy or is that just kind of subpar tailoring on that arm piece? It almost looks like a leather piece with some duct tape wrapped around it. Just a little bit disappointed. The dimensions of this, maybe they're supposed to be wacky like that, but they are just kind of like all over the place on the arm piece there, so just something to note. This arm was pretty tight. Now this arm is already wiggling on my guy, so if I take this down a notch and show you, the arm is already wiggling. I understand that there's probably thousands of these being made, and I probably just got the crappy luck and got the wiggly arm one. But it's just something to note because he is so fragile, in my opinion. I do think that that's possible to happen to other people's figures. So one thing to also note while we are here is this kind of odd stomach area. So you can see the trapped soles in his stomach area there. It's pretty badass, and it goes up into here, and it still does pivot, so you have some movement. The way they pulled that off, you can kind of think recently maybe Venom or the Threezero Demigorgon. It's a plasticky kind of suit wrapped around a body underneath there, so it has a little bit of motion to it. And as you can see too, there's a little bit of glisten to that bloody area in there as well. While we're at this angle, might as well notate there is a wire that goes through his cape here, so you can get some pretty cool dynamic poses. And this book here. So the way the book attaches, try to wiggle it out of his hand. Oh! All right, got him back up. So the way the book attaches is these little holes here, and the same thing has it on his hand. So you have the same 3 little holes right on the bottom of his hand there. So pretty easy way to attach him. On the subject of the book itself, we have some pretty fantastic details. Now, it actually reminds me of the Sideshow Court of the Dead books that they have on the site, minus the 3D look and the cool rings on the side. But yeah, it has some cool depth and feel to the book itself here. And here are the accessories. We do have this additional cape add-on. It basically adds another depth and layer, a little extra contrast to the suit itself. So it does have little clips on the side here. Oh, whack that guy there. And then you do have the scroll men, dare I call them. So you have these guys that come with it here. And then underneath is where they clip onto his hands. So if you just wanted to see the pretty easy system to clip these guys on there. And then you have this guy here. Kind of a little Superman pose there. And then last we have the rolled up scroll. Pretty good detail there. So you can kind of see a decent paint scheme on there. Little skulls at the end. So pretty cool. Just wanted to see if this guy had a, Superman pose there too. Just kind of wanted to zoom in again on these guys just to show the level of detail. So they, beyond the Superman pose, they are pretty cool. They have some good detail to them. He can hold them in both hands. So again, we have those here. Of course, dare I say that, him holding both of these with those fragile arms would be a hell of a task. But yeah, especially this white one. It has some pretty cool detail on it. Look at them together here. All right, so I'm zooming in at this angle to kind of see the tailoring as a whole, because these are the main tailoring areas. As I've showed you the arms here, we have down here the pants. I would caution you, depending on your climate, these pants, if you want to have this on your shelf for the next 2 to 3 years, will most likely deteriorate. Again, depending on your climate. Now, overall, I was actually disappointed at the quality of the pants. I think the first thought was it's going to get destroyed over time. And secondly, there wasn't a better choice based off of where this guy comes from. It just, something threw me off about the pants choice on this guy. And I don't want to hammer on it too long. He does have the high heel, cool shin guards here with the skull on that. So they're pretty cool detail down there. Now, while we're noting that he has high heels, this stand did not come with it. I am perplexed. I'm going to go on a rant. If you watch my videos, you're probably rolling your eyes. How has Threezero gone this long with Walking Dead and now doing these other lines of 1/6 figures and not including a stand? I am just baffled at the choice. If this didn't have a stand, and you see the way I touch him all through the videos, he would fall 100 times. Now, my first thought is Threezero, are they collectors themselves? Are they making these figures and putting it on their shelves? Or are they just making them and selling them? Because if they're making them and just selling them, it kind of makes sense why they're not including a stand, because they don't know. They don't have it at home. It's not falling over. As a collector, I want a stand that is for longevity and preventing it from falling over. On top of that, if you have a large collection, I've said this before, maybe some of us have 20 to 100 figures, 99% of those figures probably have a stand. Why would you want to be the only one without a stand in our collection, especially when you're already as small as you are? You're already tiny. So this boosted you a little bit. Without this stand, he would be so small in the collection. So Threezero, I can't believe that you're still not including stands, yet you're including them with Transformers that have gigantic feet and can stand on their own. Yeah, that's right. Transformers come with stands, but not your 1/6 scale figures. Anyways, include a stand going forward. It makes no sense. And just because I can, I wanted to show these guys off side by side. We have Kier to the left and Malavestros to the right. The only difference being between the two is that the left was done by TB League and Sideshow Collectibles collaboration, and the right, Threezero and Sideshow Collectibles collaboration. And lastly, let's just note the scale. Kier appears to be appropriately scaled. As I've mentioned, Malavestros, very small. As you have them next to each other, they do kind of fit well, especially the color scheme. I will note that the color scheme fits fantastic with one another. The darker reds and black, I mean, they really do pair well with one another. I'm just fearful that the scale of Malavestros is inaccurate. All right, so as we wrap this up and get ready to slap a score on this guy, let's do some final notes / ramble a little bit, right? Overall, I do feel like I just hammered on this guy the whole video, and he's not that horrible. I always have to question, would I recommend this to friends and family? The God's honest opinion is that no, I wouldn't recommend it to friends and family. In this hobby, it's all about your opinion. It doesn't matter about my ramblings and what I think. It's about what you think and about what you see in front of you. Take Captain America out of it, and if you had this guy by himself, well, then size really doesn't matter, and he does have a really striking look. Right now, as we see him turning, he looks fantastic, but as we zoom in, there are some glaring missteps to the figure. I was very excited for this lineup from Court of the Dead, especially Demethyl. Now, Demethyl is a 3-hand on one side, 1 hand on the other, gigantic skeleton general. I'm now questioning, is the lineup this small? Is he going to be very small compared to this? I'm sure the website notes the height of the figures and stuff, so I can probably go check that out. But it does scare me that this guy was just way off scale. I still want to challenge that. It doesn't make sense, the scale and the mass of this guy, next to my other 1/6 scale figures. So I'm very scared that Demethyl is going to be very similar, and we're going to have similar glaring issues. This does look like a custom body that they put on this. Clearly the way they have underneath the armor and the dead souls, the very fragile, skinny arms, it does seem very customized, so they've done a great job. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it feels a little rushed. I think had they had 6 more months to work out a few kinks in this thing, it could have been a lot better. The figure feels a little bit rushed. I actually think the TB League Court of the Dead is much better than this figure. Again, with that said, through the lens, it looks great, imposing, and striking. I just feel like in hand, there's just some things that feel like quality control should have halted this and said, just give us 6 more months and we'll knock this out of the park. But like I said, ultimately, it's your opinion that matters, not mine. So, segueing that to a score, what do I feel this guy is worth? Well, I've actually had this in mind for the past 10 minutes or so as we've been talking, and that's a 7.3 out of 10. It took a huge knock from the scale, a huge knock. Had he been the size of my other 1/6 scale figures and the mass was a lot bigger, easy point right there, right? Next point would be the fragile arms. I feel like his right arm is literally about to fall off on mine. Maybe it's just crap luck and nobody else's arms are about to fall off, but mine feels like it's going to fall off, and it makes me feel like the figure is a little bit fragile. We do have some full customization throughout this figure, so I want to say kudos to the team over there. You've still done a great job. Threezero is a fantastic studio. I have a lot of Threezero figures, especially their Transformers, so I do not want to knock the team. But this is their first attempt at Court of the Dead, and I want to say it is not the greatest first attempt. Hopefully, they're going to see some of the things that the community says about this figure, and Demethyl will get an upgrade. Crossing my fingers that we do not have the issues that we have on this with Demethyl. So, all of that said, rambling ending, 7.3 out of 10. Casey Toys, Court of the Dead, Sideshow Studios. Yeah!
Dead. Huh?